Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let me go to my main camera. Right here. Honestly, where's the gun? There we go. Alright, we're live. And as you guys can tell by the title and thumbnail, today I'm going to be working on the SDL3 basics as well. I did have a poll yesterday that asked you guys that what should I try, SDL3 or SDL2. Quite sure if you guys did vote for, I think 78% of you guys did vote for SDL3, so I'm going to be working on SDL3. That said, let me go to my gateway screen. And let me check if the potions are correct here. There we go. Okay. And guys, this is the chat from last stream because I didn't have time to like change the chat whatsoever. Let me say something like Sudsui, I'm live, exclamation. Okay, let's see. Alright, listen up chat. Our pupil Vic is back live, loud, and ready to turn code into art. Today isn't just another stream, it's the other step on the road to mastery. Okay, to master the is it pronounced as the mastery to mastery the grind? Okay, the grind doesn't care about your excuses, only your execution. Excuse me, guys. Remember this, everyone watching, the difference between a master and a novice is that a master has failed more times than a novice has tried, said by Koro Sensei. Okay, so pupil, what shall we conquer today? SDL3 again, C++ depth, or something that'll make our chat's brain melt? Let me say something like, let's say I wanted to work on building a window in SDL3. That said, I don't know how to, so can you teach me, question mark? Okay, let's see, that's it. Let me just decrease OBS or like get OBS off here. There we go. Okay, good, that's the spirit I expect from you on stream, pupil. Alright, we're gonna summon a window from the void using SDL3 like real engine sorcery. Okay, before we make magic, I want you to listen carefully because one wrong step and you'll get nothing but an error and disappointment, and you know I don't tolerate that. Okay, let's start from the very first block. No shortcuts, no pre-written nonsense. Well understand every single line before touching the next. Tap this down first, so we include a pair of ankle braces SDL3/SDL.H, okay, and then we include IOStream as well. Now we go with integer char, okay. Honestly, does going with this does build a window. I'll go ahead and copy this. This is the code from last stream where I was trying to figure out how do we write this code. That said, before I do like learn how to write this, I do want to confirm that it actually does build a window. So I'm going to save the code and run the command. Let's see what happens. Okay, in my other desktop, I did get this and I did get a window. Can you guys like see the window? I think it just spawned for like 5 seconds. Hold up guys, let me go ahead and run that again. A window did pop, guys. Hold up, let me actually show that again. Okay, it goes so quick. The window disappears so quick. That said, the window did pop. Let's change to something like 30,000 seconds. Now for it, Control S to save the code and run the command. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Here's the mini window and here's the other window. Guys, I can't bring the other window in this desktop for some reason. There we go. This is the smaller version of the window. Why does it say my first SDL window not responding? Okay, I guess I'll just close the program. And now let's cancel that as well. Okay, the code does work. That said, let's scroll all the way down. Change 30,000 to 3,000. And now let's get Synthesis ChatGPT back here. Okay, now before you run it, do not, okay, I shouldn't have run it. First, I want you to tell me what do you think of each part. Okay, honestly, let me say something like, so say, can you help me understand this, and then I can try writing it on my own ... Guys, this is a major improvement from yesterday's stream where since I couldn't even like create a regular code. That's excellent. You're finally speaking like someone who wants to master the craft, not just use it. Alright, let's dissect this like a scientist examining a strange alien organ. Okay, we'll go piece by piece, no magic, just logic. So firstly, we include SDL3/SDL.H. This line pulls in the SDL3 functions, everything from the window creation to event handling and rendering. Think of it as the entire SDL3 army to stand by your command. Without it, the compiler wouldn't know what SDL_init or SDL_create window even mean. Integer main, integer arg, and then a character with a pointer of arg, which is an array. You already know this. The program starts here. Argc and argv are the command line arguments. though we won't use them right now, they still sit quietly, okay? And now, if SDL underscore init is not, okay, so if this is technically a boolean, whatchamacallit thing, if that is not true, okay, now this is the activation ritual. SDL needs to boot up the subsystems it uses, like the video system, audio joystick input, etc. Okay, here we'll tell it initialize video subsystem. If this function returns 0, it means success. If it returns a non-zero, which is, I'm assuming, a negative number, that is failure. That's why we check and not. Okay, if it failed, example return 0 is false, we print error and exit. Okay, so standard create window, my first SDL3 window, 800, 600, 0. This is where the window appears on the void. Okay, the parameters are title, next to the title, 800 pixels, 600 pixels. Okay, that's width and height, flags 0. You're learning wrong way, read the actual SDL3 documentation. I did try that yesterday. That said, I'm pretty sure like eventually I would have to read that, but I'm trying to actually get a pretty good grasp of it first. That said, if this fails, it returns null, which means something went wrong. Maybe SDL could not talk to your system window manager. SDL underscore delay 3000. SDL runs fast, too fast. Without a pause, the window would open and close in a flash. This line freezes the program for 3000 milliseconds, which is 3 seconds, so you can actually see your window appear before it shuts down. SDL underscore destroy window. Okay, destroy window with the window parameter. This line politely destroys a window, cleans up its memory. Without it, your computer might slowly fill up with ghost windows haunting your RAM. Okay, and then SDL underscore quit. Finally, this shuts down SDL itself. Okay, I think I see. Okay, next up, we gotta write from scratch. So let's go Sensei/ChatGPT here in the other display. Okay, maybe I'm gonna zoom out a bit so I can actually see it. Okay, and the first step, I'm honestly going to be like look at the reference code while writing. The second step, I'm going to write on my own. That's it. I'll go with controller. Let's start off by deleting everything, and then I'm going to add something like hashtag include a pair of ankle braces. I want to include IO stream. Okay, and then I'm going to include something else as well. So I'll go with something like hashtag add a pair of ankle braces. I want to include SDL3 SDL3 slash SDL.h. Okay. And then next up, I gotta go ahead and create a main function. So let's do something, guys. Why does this thing load up here? No mind. Okay, and is there a way to like get rid of this? Because like I don't want that thing to be showing. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and create a main function. So I'll go with something like integer main. See, exactly like this thing, guys. How do you remove that stuff? Okay, so I'll go with something like integer main, which is gonna be having two parameters. The first parameter is gonna be integer argc. The second parameter is going to be a char with a dereferencing operator or a pointer of my argv with a pair of square brackets. I'm assuming that's an array in that case. And then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Now, inside of my pair of curly braces, firstly, I gotta add an if statement, guys. I do not want this to be showing. Is there a way to like disable that or something? I tried figuring that out yesterday. I couldn't like find a way to do that. That said, firstly, I'm gonna go with something like an if statement. So if a pair of parentheses, okay, and then let's do something like let's say if not, so if my SDL, so I'll go with SDL underscore init with a pair of parentheses, SDL underscore video. Okay, guys, how do we get rid of this stuff? Okay, underscore init. Okay, if that is set to false, this is going to be capitalized or uppercase init. Okay, so if SDL underscore init, SDL underscore init underscore video, I did that. Why does it show like a red underline here? Okay, I need to go with init video, not video init. Hold up, guys. This thing should be SDL underscore init underscore video. There we go. Okay, if that is not set to 0, which means if that is false, then I'm going to do something. I'm going to close my if statement and then add a pair of curly braces. Inside of my pair of curly braces, I'm going to do something. Let's see. Okay, so firstly, I'm going to be going with a standard CERR. This is going to be lowercase, so C error. I'm assuming this is how we pronounce it, C error. And then I'll go with an insertion operator that is going to insert something like failed to initialize SDL. So I'll go with something like a pair of double quotes, failed to initialize. Okay, failed to initialize SDL. Should I go with SDL3? Okay, I think I'll go with SDL, then I'll add a / new line. Okay, honestly, before I go with a forward slash new line, I gotta go with get error. Hold up, guys. Fail to initialize SDL, and then I'm gonna go in a new line. Right here, add another insertion operator. My new line is gonna get the exact error, so I'll go with SDL underscore error. There we go. Okay, I go with SDL underscore error with a pair of parentheses. Is that the method name? It's SDL underscore get error. What up, guys? This should be get error. There we go. So I get my exact error, and then I go with another insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. And then lastly, I gotta return 1. Okay, I returned 1 because this thing wasn't successful, so I'm gonna go ahead and return 1 ending with a semicolon. Okay, return 1 basically means that something was wrong with the program and it didn't execute properly. Next up, outside my main function, actually not outside my main function, outside my if statement, which ends right here. Honestly, what up guys, my return 1 should go here. Let's do something like return 1, ending with a semicolon. Okay, how's the progress? Honestly, I won't say like the progress is that great, but I feel like I do like understand SDL better than I understood it yesterday. Because I'm like able to like read this and kind of understand what this means. Yesterday this was like pure gibberish, guys. Okay, that's that. Next up, I gotta create a window. So I'm gonna go ahead and do something like SDL underscore window. Okay, with a asterisk, which is gonna be a pointer for my window object. That is gonna be equal to SDL underscore create window. Okay, that says my first window. Okay, so I could go with something like SDL underscore create. Guys, how do we get rid of those stuff that keeps popping up? Okay, so I'll go with create window. Excuse me guys, with a pair of parentheses, and then I'll go ahead and close that. Okay, now honestly, I might go in a new line and then I'll do something. What up guys, let's go all the way there. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to be adding a pair of double quotes that is going to say something like my first SDL3 window. Okay, and then should I go with a forward slash new line? I don't think that I should go with a forward slash new line. So I'm going to go with a comma here, and now I'm going to go with width and height. So my width is going to be 800 and my height is going to be 600. So I'm going to go with something like 800 for my width, comma, I'll go in a new line, 600 for my height, and then I'll add a comma, my flag is going to be 0. There we go. Okay, next up, I gotta end it with a semicolon. So let's go ahead and end my, end my SDL window with a semicolon. Next up, let's read the next thing. So, okay, now I gotta add an if statement for my window as well. I'm assuming I could do that here, so I'll do something like if a lot of preference. Guys, they've literally write the whole code. I don't want like, is there a way to like, delete or disable that part? Okay, Harding Cosmic, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, that said, if my, let's say window, so if window, or if not window, if a window was not created, I'm gonna do something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces. That is gonna do something. Did I add a pair of curly braces? There we go. Okay, it's gonna be getting an error, so I'm gonna go with something like a standard C error. Okay, so CERR, there we go, C error with an insertion operator. That is gonna say something like fail to create windows. So I'm gonna go with something like fail to create window, and then I'm gonna specify my error name. Maybe I'll go in a new line, add another insertion operator, do SDL underscore get error function with a pair of parentheses that gets my error, and then I'll go with a standard end line ending with a semicolon. Okay, that gets my exact error, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add a SDL underscore quit. Okay, so I could go with something like a SDL underscore quit. Okay, and then I'll add a pair of parentheses. Is that how you spell it? I think it should be capitalized quit. Okay, so SDL underscore quit with a pair of parentheses. Okay, this is SDL, my bad guys. SDL, there we go. Okay, SDL underscore quit ending with a semicolon. And then I'm going to be returning 1. Okay, we returned 1 to say that something went wrong in the program. Okay, next up, outside of my if statement now, I'm going to be going with something like SDL underscore delay. Okay, so I'm going to delay it by, let's say, 5,000 milliseconds, which is like 5 seconds, ending with a semicolon. And then a SDL underscore destroy gate destroy window. I think I spelled destroy wrong. Okay, SDL underscore destroy window. Okay, with a pair of parentheses, I want to destroy my window variable ending with a semicolon. Okay, that is a window variable that I created. Alright, next up, let's go ahead and add a SDL.quit. So I'll go with something like SDL, okay, SDL underscore quit. With a pair of parentheses ending, actually with a pair of parentheses ending with a semicolon. Lastly, I return 0 if everything went smoothly. Okay, let's return 0 ending with a semicolon. Alright, and now if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. So I got a window pop up here. Guys, I can't drag the window for some reason. It is loading. This is like the tiny one. I did have like a bigger window as well. Apparently, I couldn't like get that because like my mouse pointer was loading. Okay, hold up guys. Let me try getting it this time. Why can't I get it? Like, I see like my mouse pointer is spinning. Although my project, like, it did execute properly. Hold up guys. Let's change this to something like 10 milliseconds instead of, 10,000 milliseconds instead of 5,000 milliseconds. Now if I were to run the code, I should be able to get my window up. Okay, let's get that first, and then let's get that. It keeps saying program is not responding. Hold up guys, let's go ahead and cancel that. Okay, now let's run it one more time, get that here quick. Guys, why can't I get it? Like, I see my window in my left window. There we go. Okay, it says window not responding as well. That said a window did pop up, guys. Okay, now I'm going to change that back to 5,000. Okay, now let's go ahead and read the code real quick. So first I create a main function, integer arg, and then a character of arg, okay, of argv. Okay, actually a argument. Okay, actually I think an array of argv, which is a character, and then if SDL underscore init and SDL underscore init underscore video did not execute properly, if that was not set to true, then I'm gonna go with a standard error, fail to initialize SDL. I get the exact error that's happening, and then I go with a standard end line, and I return 1 to say something went wrong. Next up, I go with a standard window. I think you need to fetch the events from the program to update, create main loop. Honestly, I think I need to like add a while loop. Okay, that said SDL window, so I go with window SDL underscore create window, so I create a window as well. I need 3 arguments. So it requires a const title, integer of width, and an integer, integer of height argument. That's my title, that's my width, that's my height, and that's my flag. And then I go with an if statement for my window. If my window did not pop up, if it is set to false, if that did not happen, then I go ahead and I find an error. I go with a standard C error that says failed to create a window. I get the exact error, and then I go in a new line and I quit the program, return 1 saying something went wrong. Then I add a SDL delay, SDL destroy window, and a SDL quit. Okay, honestly guys, now that I've read it, let me try writing it all on my own. Alright, so firstly, let's start off by including a pair of angle brackets. Since I am going to be working with SDL, I'm going to be including SDL3 and SDL.h. Okay, and then let's go ahead and include a pair of ankle brackets as well, or ankle braces as well. I'm going to include IO stream. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and create a main function. So I'm going to go with integer main, add a pair of parentheses, and then I'll add a pair of curly braces. Now, inside of my main function, I'm going to do something. There we go. Guys, I don't want this to even... There we go. I'm going to go with something like... Okay, honestly, before I do write this up, inside of my main function, I'm going to be needing a few parameters. Let's say something like if the first parameter is going to be of argc, and then the second parameter is going to be a character, okay, with a pointer, which is going to be an array of argv with a pair of square brackets. There we go. Okay, now inside of my main function, I'm going to do something. Let's see. So firstly, I'm pretty sure I had to create a window. Hold up guys, might have to look real quick. Okay, so I check if my SDL underscore init and my SDL underscore init video is not being played properly. Alright, so I'm gonna add a if statement, then I'll go with a pair of parentheses. Inside a pair of parentheses, I'm gonna check if my SDL underscore init, so guys, I can't see a thing because of all these pop-ups. There we go, if my SDL underscore init with a pair of parentheses and my SDL underscore, guys, I can't see a thing. There we go. And my SDL underscore, hold up guys, there we go. Underscore init underscore video. Okay, let me fix my typo. Video is not equal to something. And then I'll go ahead and close the pair of parentheses. Okay, if that is, hold up guys, there we go. Okay, I'll add a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. Guys, is there a way to like remove those things that just randomly pops up? I just like to write the code on my own instead of like seeing all these things that just keep popping up. That said, if this thing didn't go properly, if that is set to false, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna be going with something like a standard C error. This is gonna look for the exact error. I'll add an insertion operator. Then a pair of double quotes. This is gonna say something like SDL error. Okay, and then I'm going to give my exact error name. To do that, I could go with another insertion operator and type something like SDL underscore get error. There we go, with a pair of parentheses. And then I'll go with another insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. Okay, and then lastly, let's go ahead and return 1. Is it 1 or like -1? I think 1. There we go, I returned 1 to say nothing, something didn't go properly in my if statement. Next up, I'm going to be doing something else. Let's create a window now. So to create a window, I'm going to go with SDL underscore window. So let's go with something like SDL underscore window. This is going to be capitalized. There we go, with a asterisk or a pointer of a window object, which is going to be equal to SDL underscore create. Okay, window with a pair of parentheses. And then now for my window, guys, I don't want these things to pop up. There we go. Hello, hiding dissolve. I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, that said, firstly, I'm going to need a title. Let's keep the title something like SDL3 window. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and add a comma, go with width and height. My width is going to be 800 and my height is going to be 600. Let's say my flag is going to be 0, ending with a semicolon. Maybe I go ahead and add my flag here. Okay, and then I'm going to end my window with a semicolon. Now, outside my window, I'm going to go with an if statement. Guys, I literally know what to do because of this if statement. I don't want that thing to be popping. Okay, that's it. I'm going to go with something like, I think you need to fetch events from the program to update, create a main rod. Oh, I see. Okay, that's it. I'll go with something like if, add a pair of parentheses. Okay, then inside of a pair of parentheses, I'm going to go with something like if not window. If my window did pop for some reason, I'm going to go with a pair of curly braces. That is going to be having a standard C error with an insertion operator. That is going to get my exact error, or like it's going to tell me what error I got. So I'm going to go with something like SDL error. Okay, let's see which error I got. I'm going to go in a new line, add another insertion operator of a SDL underscore get error. This gets the exact error that I'm looking for. And then I'll go with another insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and return 1 saying that something went wrong in the program. Okay, next up, let's see. After I create a window and I do this stuff, there's something else that I gotta do. Honestly, I do gotta go with a quit, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a SDL underscore quit. Okay, with a pair of parentheses, this exists my SDL. Next up, I'm gonna do something like, let's see. Okay, honestly, first I quit and then I return 0. So let's go ahead and copy that. Go with something like return 1. There we go. Okay, else if everything did go properly, I'm gonna do something else. So I'm gonna go with something like SDL underscore destroy. Okay, I want to destroy my window with a pair of parentheses. My parameter is gonna be my window object. Actually, my window variable. And then I'm going to end that with a semicolon, and then I'll go with something like SDL underscore quit with a pair of parentheses ending with a semicolon. Lastly, let's go ahead and return 0, ending with a semicolon saying that everything did go properly in the program. Okay, honestly, before I do destroy my window, I might add something like a SDL underscore delay, because I want to, I want the window to last for a while. I'm going to keep the delay up for something like 8,000 milliseconds, which is like 8 seconds, ending with a semicolon. Now, if all it control is to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. So this is our first terminal. Guys, why can't I get my window? Like, I can't drag it. I see like, there we go. Although before I do move my window, I see something spinning. Okay, that's it. I think I got it. Let me go ahead and delete everything again and try writing again, because guys, practice makes perfect, because I do want to first make sure I didn't understand it. That said, let me firstly start off by including a pair of ankle braces. Let's say I want to include something. So, there we go. Okay, let's say I want to include... Did I spell include wrong? Okay, I'll go with something like hashtag include. Add a pair of ankle braces. I want to include, let's say, SDL3 slash SDL.h. Okay, and then honestly, I might even include IO stream, because I do want to add inputs in the screen. So I'm going to go with something like IO stream. Next up, let's go ahead and create a main function. So I'll go with something like integer main, add a pair of parentheses. Inside of my main function, I'm going to be requiring a few parameters, or adding a few parameters. The first parameter is going to be argc. The second is going to be a characters parameter with a asterisk or a pointer for an array, which is going to be argv with a pair of square brackets. And then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Now, inside of my pair of curly braces, I'm assuming, guys, I didn't want this to come. I wanted to like figure it out myself. Okay, I'm assuming I'll need an if statement, so I'll go with something like if, a pair of parentheses. There we go. Okay, let's say if something like my SDL, so if SDL underscore init, okay, with a pair of parentheses of my SDL underscore init underscore video. Can you guys like even see? There we go. With a pair of parentheses, there we go, and then I'm gonna add a pair of parentheses here as well. Okay, if this thing did not be executed properly, I'm gonna add a exclamation for like not. Okay, did I spell video correct? V-I-D-E-O. I think I spelled something wrong. Okay, let's go with something like video, V-I-D-E-O. Should I go with SDL underscore video underscore init? Would that make more sense? Okay, that doesn't make sense. So I might go with SDL underscore init underscore video. Okay, here, that should work. Oh, wait, I think I don't need a pair of parentheses, because that's not like a function. Okay, I'll add a pair of parentheses here. There we go. And then let's go ahead and add a pair of curly braces. Guys, how do I get rid of this stuff? There we go. Okay, so if this thing didn't work properly and an error did occur, I'm going to be looking for the error. I think PWL, I appreciate you joining the stream. That said, I'm going to be going with a standard C error. So I'm going to look for an error. Firstly, my C error is going to be displaying a console output. It's going to say something like error, error found. Okay. And then I'm going to go in a new line, add another insertion operator of my SDL underscore get error. There we go. And guys, I should like try typing slow, because I realized whenever I tap, my camera starts to quiver or something, or like start quaking. That said, I'm going to go with another insertion operator. Let's say something like standard end line ending with a semicolon. And then I'm going to be returning once, saying that something wrong happened and something didn't run properly. That said, I'm going to go ahead and add another... Actually, before I add another if statement, let me go ahead and create a window first. So I'm going to go ahead and create a window. So I'll do something like SDL underscore... Was it underscore or SDL create window? I think SDL underscore create window. There we go. Okay, with a pair of parentheses. Now, I'm going to be creating a window. Actually, I might not go with create window just yet. I might go with something like SDL underscore window with an asterisk of something like a window variable that is going to be equal to my SDL underscore create window. So I'm going to go with create window. And then I'll add a pair of parentheses. And then I'll go in a new line. Guys, how do I get rid of that stuff? I know I did like watch a few YouTubers. They don't even like get rid of that SDL underscore. I mean, they don't like get these autocorrects or something that like says them what code to write. That said, let me go ahead and firstly add a title. This title is going to say something like SDL window created successfully. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to add a comma, go in a new line, add my width of 800 and my height of something like 600. Then a flag of 0. And then I'm going to go ahead and end my SDL window with a semicolon. Next up, let's add a if statement. So I'm going to go ahead and add a if statement. I'll go with a pair of parentheses. Okay, and then I'm going to check something. If not window, if my window wasn't created successfully, I'm gonna look why wasn't it created successfully. So I'll go with something like a standard C error with an insertion operator. I'm gonna say something like the error the error found. Okay, and then I'll go with another insertion operator. This is gonna say something like SDL underscore get error. This gets my exact error, like the reason my window wasn't created properly. I'll go with another insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. Okay, let me go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Honestly, wait, hold up, guys. This should be a pair of curly braces. There we go. Okay, let's change that to be a pair of curly braces, curly braces. Now let's go ahead and end that with a semicolon, maybe indent that a bit. Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to go ahead and return one to say something went wrong or like something wasn't correct. Lastly, before I exit everything, I am firstly going to be adding a delay. So I'll go with something like SDL because I can't see a thing. I'm going to go with something like SDL underscore delay. Okay, I'm going to be adding a delay for something like 8 seconds. So I'll add a delay for 1000 milliseconds ending with a semicolon. And then I'll do something like SDL underscore window. Okay, I think it was something like destroy window. So I'll go with something like SDL underscore destroy window. This destroys my window. And then I'm going to be adding a parameter of my window variable ending with a semicolon. And then I'll do something like SDL underscore quit with a pair of parentheses ending with a semicolon as well. Lastly, hiding Olu, I appreciate you joining the stream. Is that your opinion, your name though? That's it, I'm going to return 0 as well, saying that the program, executed properly. Now, if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. So I got my first window. Guys, why can't I drag my second window that says SDL window created successfully? Now when it says not responding, I can actually drag it and then it disappears. Okay, I think I got a pretty good gist of this, guys. That's it, let's go with the controller. Control C, copy that. Honestly, maybe I'll write it one more time to be sure that I completely got this. I was gonna say instead of go to the next part, but I might actually write it one more time because guys, I need to be sure that I did understand this part. So let's start off by including a pair of ankle braces again. I want to include, let's say, SDL3 slash SDL.h. I'm assuming SDL.h is the SDL's header file. Next up, let's go ahead and include another pair of ankle braces since I'm going to be working with call it user or console outputs. I am going to be installing IOStream, which is basically the eyes and ears of our program in C++. Next up, I'm going to be creating a main function, so I'll go with something like integer main, add a pair of parentheses. Guys, how do I remove that? Okay, how do we go to SDL settings? I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some kind of settings that helps us remove that because that's so annoying. Excuse me, guys. So save as. So I see there are save as. Aren't there settings in SDL? I see options. Okay, I don't think it's any of these options. Okay, maybe I'll check it later. What happens if I go to help? Okay, I don't think it's there in help because that gets so annoying. Okay, that said, I'll go with something like an integer of argc. That's going to be my first parameter in my main function. The second parameter is going to be a character with a pointer of something like an array of argv with a pair of square brackets. And then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Now, inside of my main function, I'm going to do something. I'll add an if statement. So I'll go with something like if a pair of parentheses. Guys, this part is so annoying. There we go. Okay, let's say if not. So if whatever I'm going to type here, if that is set to false, I'm going to do something. So if my SDL underscore init with a pair of parentheses, inside my pair of parentheses, I'm going to go with something like SDL underscore init underscore video. Guys, how do I see a thing because of all these pop-ups? Is this how you guys actually code with all those pop-ups and everything? Okay, if this whole thing is set to false, I'm gonna do something. I'll add a pair of curly braces, and then I'm gonna do something. So I'll go one line up, maybe indent here. Okay, I'm gonna look what happened. Why did my program crash or something? So I'm gonna go with something like a standard C error with an insertion operator. This is gonna be saying something. It's gonna say something like error. Okay, and then I'll go with an insertion operator that gets me the exact error. So I'm going to do something like SDL underscore get error. Should I go with without space? So SDL underscore get. I think it's underscore. I'll go with something like get error. Okay, this gets the exact error that I'm looking for with another insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. Okay, and then let's go ahead and return one saying that something was wrong in the program. Something messed up, guys. Okay, next up, now let's go ahead and create a window. So firstly, to create a window, I could go with something like SDL. Guys, how do I remove this? This is so annoying. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like SDL underscore, let's say window. So I might go with something like window with a pointer or a asterisk that is going to be having a variable of window, which is going to be equal to SDL underscore create window, okay, with a pair of parentheses, and then I might actually end that with a pair of curly braces, actually with a semicolon. Now let's go in a new line, and the first thing that I'm going to be needing is my title. I'm going to say something like SDL window created successfully, and then I'm going to add a comma here, go in a new line, get my width and my height. My width is going to be 800 pixels, my height is going to be 600 pixels, and then let's say my flag is going to be 0. Okay, perfect. Now let's add another if statement to check if my window did execute properly. Guys, how do you get rid of this stuff? This feels like I'm cheating. Okay, so I'm going to go with something like if, I'll add a pair of parentheses. Let's say if not window, there we go. If my window did not, execute properly or something wrong happened, I'm going to go with a pair of curly braces to do something. So I'm going to firstly be adding a standard C error. So I'll go with something like a standard C error, okay, with an insertion operator that is going to be having a pair of double quotes. It's going to say something like error, okay. And then I'm going to go in a new line, add another insertion operator, and get the exact error that I'm looking for. So I'm going to go with something like SDL underscore get error with a pair of parentheses. This gets the exact error that I'm looking for. Then I'll go with another insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. Okay, and then let's go ahead and quit my SDL as well. So I'll go with something like SDL underscore quit. Honestly, this is going to be like a title case quit with a pair of parentheses ending with a semicolon. And lastly, let's go ahead and return one. Okay, what are you teaching? Honestly, I'm actually not teaching anything. That said, I am actually learning the basics of SDL today. I mean, I did start SDL yesterday. Today, I'm learning on how to like build a window in SDL. Yesterday, I struggled so much with this, guys. I feel like I'm getting a pretty good grasp of this today. That said, I'm trying to figure out how do I get those auto codes to like disappear or something, because that's kind of annoying. Like, you guys see main loop placeholder or something. Okay, that said, after my window, firstly I'm gonna add a delay. So I'm gonna go with like SDL delay. Adding Themer, is that how you pronounce your name? I appreciate you joining the stream. That said, I'm gonna go with something like SDL underscore delay with a pair of parentheses. I'm gonna be having a delay for 8,000 milliseconds, which is like 8 seconds. Okay, big luck for you, brother. I appreciate you, Themer. Okay, what is this programming language? Honestly, it is like C++ and SDL. That said, keep going. I appreciate you guys so much for that. Okay, next up, after my SDL underscore delay, I'm going to destroy my window. So I'll go with something like SDL underscore destroy window, destroy window, okay, with a pair of parentheses, and then I'm going to add my window variable, ending with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and do a SDL underscore quit to quit my SDL. Lastly, I'm going to go ahead and return 0 ending with a semicolon. That said, my program did execute properly. Now, if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. Okay, you should build a kernel and quit. Oh, I see. Okay, that's it. Let's get this here. Guys, I can't get my SDL window in the new tab unless I actually wait for it to say not responding. That's it. A window did appear. Okay, now let's go with the Control A, Control C, copy that. Let's get some /ChatGPT here. Okay, let's go ahead and extend that all the way from here. I feel like I understood how to actually create the window. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom in a bit. Let's go ahead and paste that. Let's go with Shift Enter and say something like, Sensei, I wrote this code about 5 times, 3 times by looking at the reference, and twice on my own, That said, I feel Okay, I feel like I understand how to create a window. Okay, I think I understand how to create a window. That said, that said, my Visual Studio for some reason keeps telling or keeps giving me the answer means the correct code before I even write the code. So is there a way to disable that question mark? Okay, let's see. Okay, hiding Linux, I appreciate you joining the stream. That's it, let me hide my lips real quick. Hiding in Rush, I appreciate you joining the stream as well. Hiding DJ K, is that how you pronounce your name? I appreciate you guys joining the stream as well. Okay, well done people, you actually earned that window. You didn't just copy code, you understood it, and that's the difference between a coder and a creator. Now, about Visual Studio spoiling the answers for you, yes, that's IntelliSense and auto suggestion trying to be helpful, but for someone actually training their brain in C++, it's like whispering answers during an exam. You don't need that. You want muscle memory. Here's how to disable it or limit IntelliSense suggestions so you can truly code from void. Howdy, Aina Bizarre pronounce your name. I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, option 1, turn off auto suggestions. So in Visual Studio, go to the menu bar, go to tools, go to options, expand text editor, C/C++, uncheck the box that says auto list. Also unlock parameter information, okay? If you don't want hints while typing, and then click OK. Now Visual Studio will stop predicting. Okay, just slow it down. Go to tools, text editor, advanced, auto click delay. Okay, honestly, I see. Let's get Sensei/ChatGPT here real quick. Hold up, guys. Let me actually try that because, like, the IntelliSense suggestions, is that how you pronounce it though? That's so annoying at times because, like, I want to actually write the code like from my memory. Okay, let's scroll all the way down. So the first option, firstly, it says go to the toolbox. So the tools is all the way here. Okay, and then I gotta go ahead and open options. Where's options at? Do you guys see options? There we go. Okay, I see options and then expand text editor. So text editor. Guys, am I blind or can I see it properly? Where's text editor? Toggle multiple rows. Where's text editor? There we go. Okay, so I expanded. And then I gotta go to C/C++, which is right here. Okay, and then into lessons. So I see general, advanced, C/C++, uncheck the auto list. C/C++, into lessons. And then I gotta uncheck the auto list. So hence argument contains parameter names, I uncheck that. Okay, suggest create declarations. Where's the uncheck auto list option? Allow navigation, previous signatures. Okay, also uncheck parameter information. So where's parameter information at, guys? Guys, this is so tiny, I can't see anything. Okay, so I see, honestly, should I uncheck everything? Show size and alignment, I think that's good suggestion. Create a declaration, define action, show and on non-const reference parameters, hints, I do not want hints. Enable parameter information, uncheck parameter information. Guys, let's just uncheck everything. Okay, like what's the worst that could happen, guys? Allow navigation, previous signatures, enable play hints, okay. Okay, perfect. I guess we unchecked everything. Now, if I did okay, now it should stop saying stuff, right? Hold up, guys. Let's try writing it real quick. So I'll go with Control A. Let's start off by deleting everything. Let's see. Let me start off by including a pair of ankle braces. I want to include IO stream. And then let's go ahead and include a pair of ankle braces as well. Since I am using SDL3, I'm going to go ahead and import SDL3/SDL3.h. I'm assuming the H stands for headers. Next up, guys, the moment of truth. I'll go with something like integer main, add a pair of parentheses. Inside my pair of parentheses, I'm going to be requiring two parameters. The first parameter is going to be something like integer of, let's say, argc. Okay, and then I'll go with something like a character or a char of something like argv. So I'll go with argv with a pair of square brackets. And then I'll go with a pair of grid. It still shows it. Okay, hold up guys, let me go to tools, options again, C/C++, show size alignment. Let's like uncheck everything. Okay, let's uncheck type hence, let's enable that, uncheck everything from here. Okay, now for it, okay. Okay, let's see. Bro, hi, howdy Pixel. I appreciate you joining the stream. That's so solve in Java. Honestly, I am actually planning to like start Java really soon. Maybe after my programming for 250 series. That's it, bro. How are you? I'm doing good. How are you guys doing? How are you doing, Pixel? Okay, that's it. Now it shouldn't show anything. So let's go ahead and delete this again. Add a pair of curly braces. Why does it still show? Guys, how do you remove that stuff? Okay, did you press apply? I think I did press apply. Let me check again. Was there like an apply option? So I'll go to tools, I'll go to options. I don't think there's an apply option. There's just an okay option. I like disabled every single thing. Navigate after reference, reference only, suggestions. Okay, I just want suggestions for, let's say warnings. Or actually, I'll go with something like none. Okay, I don't want suggestions. I want errors. Okay, and then refactor. Let's say refactor only. Maybe I'll go with something like errors as well, and then open documents. Okay, now let's go ahead and okay. Okay, are you using Copilot? Honestly, I am using ChatGPT. That's it. I did try Copilot yesterday. I feel like Copilot didn't help, guys. This thing never goes. Why does it keep popping up? Okay, I'll go with the bro curly braces. Okay, honestly, wait, hold up, guys. Let's get some tasteless ChatGPT back here. Okay, let's go ahead and extend that a bit. Do that. Is it Copilot hence? Honestly, wait, is it Copilot hence? Hold up, guys. It actually might be Copilot in that case. Okay, just disable Copilot and Visual Code. How do we disable Copilot? I see GitHub Copilot right here. Let's go ahead and open chat windows. So if I open chat window, is there a way to disable Copilot from here? Okay, I think it's, let me actually ask something. I think it's Copilot built into VS Code. That actually does make sense. Okay, wait, hold up, guys. Let me extend Sensei real quick. Okay, let's say something like, let's say, maybe I zoom in a bit. Okay, let's say something, let's say, people from my chat were saying that it's Copilot's hints. Copilot's hints how to disable that question mark. Okay, let's see how to disable Copilots. Why do you have SDL underscore delay 8000? So I can actually show you guys whatchamacallit the window as well, because like 8000 milliseconds is like 8 seconds. Since I don't have a while loop, I do gotta like explicitly keep the window open for a while or delete the Copilot extension. How do we do that? Okay, that said, it's the GitHub Copilot. That sneaky little ghost reads your thoughts and finishes your code before your brain even commits to an idea. If you want to train properly without an AI spoon feeding you, you need to silence it for now. Here's how you turn off. Method 1, turn it off completely. Menu bar extensions, GitHub Copilot settings, enable Copilot. Okay, disable it. Go to tools, go to options, go to GitHub Copilot Advanced Language C++, change enable to disable. Okay, let's try both first. Okay, your stream looks pre-recorded for real. Guys, I'm reading the chats online. It's actually not pre-recorded. That said, why didn't you use a running loop? Honestly, I was going to do that, but before that, I was like learning the basics and actually how to install it, because like I haven't done much with SDL because I did just start learning about it last stream. Okay, that said, go to tools, go to something like options, and then I gotta go to Copilot. Let's find Copilot here. Go to GitHub. Okay, Copilot. And then there's, let's disable everything honestly for Copilot. I'm gonna go ahead and disable every single thing. Okay, honestly, I feel like disabling everything would like help. So let's disable that. Let's disable TypeScript. Okay, let's go ahead and okay now. Alright, now if I would add a pair of parentheses. Perfect. Guys, it was Copilot all along. In that case, I might go back to tools. Okay, now I will be going to, let's say, okay, I think environment or project solutions. Where did I go before? Did I go to text editor? I extend that up. Okay, which was the previous one? I might enable all those back. Okay, you keep us retaining so well. Retaining. Okay, like I have an exam tomorrow, but watching you code is nice. Honestly, I do appreciate you, Yad, for that. That actually means the world to me, guys. That's it, you guys should learn for your exams. Is this VS Code? Honestly, this is Visual Studio, not VS Code. Please explain SFL3. Honestly, I haven't like learned SFL3. That's it. I am going over SDL3. Okay, let's see. So from SDL3, let's go ahead and build this code now. Let's delete the main function. Now, let me go ahead and start off by creating a main function. So I'll go with integer main. Now, my main function is going to be having a parameter of argc and let's say a character of argv. So I'm going to go with something like argv with the pair of square brackets, guys. It's so much better without Copilot. Okay, now in the pair of curly braces, I'm going to be adding an if statement to check something. So I'm going to check if my SDL, let's say underscore init, okay, with a pair of parentheses, and then I'll go with something like, guys, how do I now remove these things? Okay, I'll go with something like SDL underscore init underscore video, okay, if that thing did not execute properly. So I'm gonna go with a pair of, actually I'm gonna go with a exclamation mark there. So if this returned as false and it didn't return as 0, then something wrong happened. So I'm gonna find exactly what messed up. So I'll go with something like a standard C error. So I'm gonna go with C error. I'll add an insertion operator that is gonna say something like okay, you got this error, okay, and then I'm going to new line, add another insertion operator and do something like SDL underscore get error. This gets the exact error that I'm looking for, and then I'll go with another insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon, and then let's go ahead and return one that says something wrong happened in the code. Okay, I have an exam tomorrow, but what's your code? Bet see ya, bro, tomorrow. Honestly, good luck with your exam, Ayan, bro. Honestly, how do you pronounce this? I think it's Ayan. I think it's Ayan. Okay, let me know next stream how your, exam went. That's it. Now let's go ahead and create a window. For creating a window, I'm gonna go ahead and type something like SDL. Let's go with something like SDL underscore create or SDL underscore window. Okay, let's go with an asterisk, okay, a pointer of something like, let's say, a window variable that is going to be equal to, let's say, SDL underscore create window. Okay, so I'll go with SDL underscore create window. Let me actually fix my typo real quick. Let's go with create window. There we go. With a pair of parentheses, and then I'm going to go in a new line. Why do you need to learn SDL3? Honestly, because I do have like a C++ series or like a programming for 258 series, where my goal by the end of that series is to make a game in general which consists of AI logic in it. And since I thought C++ is the best language for making game, I thought might as well learn it, and like SDL is the pi games of C++. That said, I'm gonna go with something like the title. That is gonna be something like SDL window created successfully to, okay, and then I'm going to go in a new line after adding a comma here, honestly. Okay, this is going to be saying something like, let's say my width is going to be 800 pixels, my height is going to be 600 pixels, and let's say my flag is going to be 0. Then I'm going to go ahead and end my window with a semicolon. Now let's add a if statement to check if my window did appear properly. So I'm going to go with something like if not window. Actually, my window did not appear properly, so I'm going to go with something like if my window did not appear properly or something messed up, I'm going to look exactly what messed up. So I'll go with something like a standard. I would recommend leaving into lessons on, as it does show the available methods. Honestly, yeah, I actually did have to go in on that real quick. Let me actually on that. I'll go with options, and then I'll go with Intel code. Is it Intel code? Guys, am I blind, or like is Intel lessons written somewhere here? I think it's Intel code. No, I don't think it was Intel code. I think it's under text editor. Okay, and then C++, and then there we go into lessons. Now let's go ahead and change this to suggestions. Let's change that to suggestions as well, and let's go ahead and enable everything. Guys, I actually forgot what all I disabled, so it's gonna be a bit hard to enable. Is that like, okay, let's go ahead and, I'm pretty sure that was disabled. I'm pretty sure this was enabled. That was enabled. Enable. Okay, and then enable that. There we go. Alright guys, let's just enable everything. Let's see what happens. Okay, do you know trigonometry, guys? I'm awful with math. That said, can you explain it in little description? Okay, so basically what I did here was, first I included like my header files. I'm pretty sure these are called header files. or these are called like libraries or something. I install the SDL library slash SDL.h to get access to SDL3. Then I created a main function. Inside the main function, for now, I don't know why we added this, but we do need to add integer of argc and character with a pointer of argv with a pair of square brackets. I'm assuming that's an array. And then I go ahead and check if my SDL was not initialized properly. If it was not initialized properly, I'm going to look for a specific error and then return one saying that something wrong happened. And then I go ahead and create a window. That's my window's title, that's my that's my width, and that's my height. That's my flag. I don't know what my flag is for. That said, we just added 0 for the time being. Next up, I'm checking if my window did not spawn properly in the screen. So I'm going to go with something like sdl.c error. This is going to say something like error. You guys could like add any text here. I'm just going to be adding error and then looking for the exact error. To look for the exact error, I'm going to go with something like sdl underscore, let's say something like get error. This gets the exact error that occurred like if my window didn't pop up. Then I go with another insertion operator of a standard, excuse me guys, end line ending with a semicolon. Lastly, let's go ahead and quit my SDL as well. So I'll do something like SDL underscore quit with a pair of parentheses ending with a semicolon, and then I'll return one saying that something wrong happened. Okay, let's do some Python machine learning projects. Honestly, I didn't like have like a lot of videos on Python. That's it. I haven't like started machine learning. By videos, I mean like live streams, guys. Okay, the args are so you can pass parameters into the program when it's run. Oh, I see. That actually does make sense. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and add a delay. Now, the reason I'm adding a delay is because I didn't add a while loop. So I'll do something like SDL underscore delay. Let's go with something like delay. Okay, and then I'm going to add a pair of parentheses. I'm going to add like a delay for like 8,000 milliseconds, which is like 8 seconds ending with a semicolon. And then I'll do something like SDL underscore quit ending with a semicolon as well. Honestly, before I do go with SDL underscore quit, I am going to be returning 0. Although before my SDL underscore quit, I'm going to do something like SDL underscore destroy window, because I do want to destroy the window that I created as well. And this is going to be my window variable ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. Now, if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. Okay, so firstly, I did get a window created. Guys, how do I get the window to the other screen? Like, the only time I can get it to the other screen is when it says not responding. There we go. Okay, perfect. Alright, I guess let's get some Sensei/ChatGPT here. Okay, let's scroll all the way down and say something like Sensei, okay, it's fixed now, ... That said, I do know how to create a window now. Although, okay, although what's the next step? Question mark. Maybe keeping the window, maybe keeping the window open until I don't click the X button, question mark. Okay, let's see. Okay, yes, that was kind of slow, guys. Yes, that's exactly the next step, people. You mastered summoning a window. Now you must control it. Keeping it open until you click X is where the window becomes alive. Right now, your code just waits for a fixed amount of time as the underscore delay, 8,000 milliseconds, which is 8 seconds, and then dies lifeless. To make it respond to you to events, okay, we use something called event loop. Let me explain what happens under the hood. SDL listens to everything that happens with your window, mouse clicks, key presses, even when you move it. These things are called events. The function SDL underscore poll event checks if there is any event waiting. If the event type is SDL underscore event underscore quit, that means you click the close button. Okay, we'll use that to decide when to end your program. Here's how that looks in C++. Analyze, don't copy yet. We built it step by step. Your English is perfect, really. Honestly, I do appreciate you, Byram. Is that how you pronounce your name? Okay, that's it. Let me go ahead and copy this first. Before I do like wait and like spend time analyzing the code, I do prefer checking if it works. So I'll go with something like Control V, let's paste that. Okay, I see errors, but hold up, I think I didn't copy it properly. Let's get Sensei back here. Okay, oh, this is just my event loop. Okay, hold up, this keeps the looping, okay, until you click the X. Okay, let me say something like the. Let's say, can I get the whole code to analyze question mark, guys? I want to analyze the whole code real quick. Okay, let's see. So we include all this stuff. Da, da, da. Okay. Oh, guys, there's comments too. It's going to be much easier to read. If I copy that go with controller, let's paste the whole stuff. Okay, now if I did control S to save the code and run the command. Let's see what happens. I didn't get build error. That's good. Okay, guys, I think I can even get this now. Perfect. And if I hit X, that deletes it. Alright, now let's read the, whatchamacallit, let's read the code out. Okay, yeah, greetings from, Turkey. Honestly, that does sound pretty cool. I think, like, you're the first person from Turkey. Okay, why did you use SDL? Honestly, because, like, I heard SDL is, like, the pie game of C++, where we can make games, but, like, whatchamacallit, using an actual display to make, like, 2D games. That said, so firstly, I include a pair of ankle braces SDL3 slash SDLH. Maybe the... Okay, then I go with something like a main function. Honestly, I might like read Sensei's code because like I don't think you guys can see that whole code from there. There we go. Okay, so I go with integer main and I add argc as my first parameter and the character with a asterisk of argv. Okay, that is an array with a pair of square brackets. And then I initialize SDL with video support. So if SDL underscore init with a pair of parentheses, inside the pair of parentheses, SDL underscore init underscore video is not true, or like it didn't return 0 and it returns something that is not 0, I'm gonna look for which error. So I'll go with something like a standard C error. Okay, that says something like error. Then I'm gonna get the exact error that's occurring. Okay, and then I go with something like a standard end line and I return 1. And then I go ahead and create a window. So I go with something like SDL window with a asterisk or a pointer of my window variable. Okay, then I go ahead and use the SDL underscore create window function that has my title, my width in pixels, my height in pixels, and my flag. I see. Okay. Yeah, but why over other libraries? Honestly, because like this is the only library that I didn't know of, because like I could like research and like find other libraries, because many of you guys did recommend me as well to like start SDL, and I did have like a poll in my channel that had like 42 votes and like 78% of you guys did say me to like try SDL3. Okay, that said, will you be doing something with Raylib? Honestly, many of you guys did recommend me to use Raylib as well. Maybe when I start Python again or like something that relates Raylib, I will actually go over it because I did want to like go over Raylib, Turtle, and like different game engines too. That's it. Check if window creation failed. So if not window, if my window did not spawn, if it didn't return 0, okay, then I look for the errors. So I go with something like standard C error, and then I add a pair of insertion operator. I add a text, so my error, and then I get the exact same error ending in a new line. And then I go with something like a standard quit, and I return 1. Now, for my event loop, firstly, I create a boolean variable called is underscore running, which is initially set to true, and then SDL underscore event with a variable called events. Okay, cutting long story, I appreciate you joining the stream. That said, while my program is running, or while my boolean is running is set to true, I'm going to check for any pending events. So while SDL poll event, okay, so I'm assuming this is our event loop, okay, is with an address of operator event. So while my SDL underscore poll event, okay, I think this is like a pointer, and like that gets the memory address of that pointer. If my event variable dot type equals to SDL underscore event underscore quit, okay, I set my is underscore running boolean variable to be equal to false. That's the exit the loop when X is pressed. Okay, clean up after exiting. I think I see, guys, this is honestly the same as as the Python's event loop. Okay, hold up. Although I do want to copy this part, let's go ahead and copy that part. I have a question about this. I'll go ahead and paste that, go with shift enter, maybe I'll let it pair of parentheses. Okay, I'm gonna say something like sensei. For this part, why did we use a address of operator? Okay, let's go with something like why did we use a address of operator slash a ampersand. Excuse me, guys. Okay, next up, let's see. How good. That's exactly the kind of question a real programmer asks. Listen carefully, people. This is one Okay, this one separates the amateurs from those who command memory itself. When you see this line, standard SDL underscore poll event, okay, you're not passing the event itself, you're passing the address of the variable event. I see why, because SDL underscore poll event must fill the details of that event. Okay, the keyboard press, the mouse movements, the or the X button click. If you press just event, the function would get a copy, like giving a photograph instead of the actual document. I see. But when you pass a ampersand event or like an address of operator event, you hand SDL the location of the memory, so it manipulates my actual variable instead of a copy of my variable. Okay, this lets SDL write directly into it, saying like, here's my notebook SDL, write the next events. I see. Okay, then in your code when you check this, that reads accordingly. Okay, I think I see. Let's get Sensei slash ChatGPT here. Okay, that's it. Let me actually try writing that. Firstly, I will like actually maybe look at the reference while doing it, and then after maybe writing it the third time, I'll try it on my own. Okay, that's it. Let's scroll all the way down. Okay, so after I do all this stuff, what up guys, let's go with a bunch of control Z's. Maybe I'll go with the control A, delete everything. Now, let's start off by including a pair of ankle braces. So I want to include, let's say, IO stream first. So I'm going to go ahead and include IO stream. And then let's go ahead and include something else. So I'm going to include, let's say, SDL3, because I am going to be working with SDL3 slash the SDL.h. I'm assuming SDL.h means SDL.header files. Guys, you guys could like fact check me on that. That said, after I include SDL3.h, this is going to be SDL3, I'm going to do something. Let's go ahead and create a main function. So I'll go with something like integer main. To integer main, I'll add a pair of parentheses. My main function is going to be having a few parameters. So I'm going to go with something like, the first parameter is going to be argc. The second parameter is going to be a character of argv. Okay, with a pair of square brackets. I'm assuming that the memory address of this array, like chars memory address of this array, or this is like a pointer array. Okay, and then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Now, inside of my pair of curly braces, let's check if my SDL was initialized properly. So I'm going to be adding an if statement. I'll go with if. Okay, my bad guys. Let's check if the SDL was not initialized properly. Okay, so I'll go with something like not. Then if my SDL, was it SDL3? I think it was SDL underscore init with a pair of parentheses. Now, if my SDL underscore init, and then I'll go with something like SDL underscore init underscore video. Guys, why are there so many things popping up? There we go. Okay, this is my flag. So if this was not initialized properly, I'm going to do something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces, and then let's go ahead and add a standard C error. So CERR. What is he developing? Can anyone tell me? Honestly, I am like learning the basics of SDL and C++. Today is like the day 2 of me actually learning SDL. I did try it like yesterday as well. That said, guys, I feel like I didn't get much progress at all yesterday, because I was trying to figure out like from where can I actually learn SDL. Apparently today Sensei slash ChatGPT does know correct stuff. Yesterday it was so hard, I had to like go to the documentations. That said, I'm gonna go with something like a standard C error, and then maybe add something that says error. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to go in a new line, add an insertion operator that gets my error. So I'll do something like SDL underscore get error. This gets the exact error that occurred. And then I'm going to go with another insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. Lastly, let's go ahead and return 1. Okay, ending with a semicolon. Return 1 basically means something went wrong. Check back in your code. Okay, now let's go ahead and create a window. For creating my window, okay, what C++ version to use? Honestly, guys, I actually forgot. I think I used something like, I actually forgot the version. Is there a way to check it? That's it, Hiding79. Sammy, is that how you pronounce your name? I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, now let's go ahead and do something like create a window. So I'm going to type something like SDL underscore window. So I'm going to go with something like window. With an asterisk, I'm going to be creating a window variable with a pair of parentheses. Inside my pair of parentheses, I'm going to do something. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to set this equal to window. There we go. Was this correct? Okay, maybe did I forget this part? Window. that is going to be equal to, there we go. Okay, so this is my window variable now. That is going to be equal, this is a pointer to my window variable. This is going to be equal to something like SDL underscore create window. So I'm going to be creating a window. Let me fix my typo real quick. Create window with a row of parentheses. Okay, and then I'm going to do something. Let's go in a new line. So maybe end that with a semicolon. Now, I'll need 3 parameters. The first parameter is going to be a title. I'm going to say something like, maybe I'll say something like Civ Universe window. Okay, then I'm going to add a comma, go in a new line, go with my height, which is going to be 800 pixels, my width, which is going to be 600 pixels, and then my flag, which is going to be 0. Okay, perfect. That's honestly pretty much it. Howding, Arkeys, I pronounce your name. I appreciate you joining the stream as well. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and check if my window variable did not execute properly. So I'm gonna go with like something like an if statement. So I'll go with if, add an exclamation here for not, if not window. If my window did not return true, I'm gonna do something, or it did not return 0. I'm gonna do something. I'm going to be going with a standard C error with that insertion operator. This is going to be saying something like error. Okay, and then I'll go in a new line, add another insertion operator, and get the exact error that happened. So I'll go with something like a standard underscore get error. I'll go with something like get error. Okay, this gets the exact error that I'm looking for with another insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. Okay, and then if an error did happen and a window did not appear, I'm going to be quitting my SDL. So I'll do something like SDL underscore quit with a pair of parentheses ending with a semicolon. Lastly, I'm going to return 1 ending with a semicolon. We basically return 1 if like something goes wrong and return 0 if something went correct. Okay, that said, now that I've created all this, let's go ahead and create our event loop. Maybe I'll add a comment that says something like event loop. Okay, this is the part that's like new to me. So for my event loop, firstly, I'm going to be creating a Boolean variable called something like is running, which is going to be set to true initially. So guys, is there a way to not remove this stuff? Like, what is this even called? Okay, let's see what's this called. Can we remove this? Okay, I think I want to check how to remove that because that part is getting kind of annoying. So I'll go with something like a Boolean variable of is running, which is set to true. And then I needed something like event poll. Was it event poll? Okay, I needed SDL event. So I'll go with something like SDL underscore event. Okay, which is going to be having a variable called event, ending with a semicolon. Now I add a while loop. So let's go with something like a while loop. So while a pair of parentheses, let's say while is running, while my program is running, or while my is running is set to true, I'm going to do something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces. And then, okay, excuse me guys, this is going to be my game loop. That's not my event loop just yet. Now, I'm going to be adding another while loop. Wait, this is something different from Python now. Okay, so I'm going to add another while loop inside of my initial while loop. This is going to say something like SDL underscore poll event. Guys, can that like just go? There we go. SDL underscore poll event. There we go. Okay, with a pair of parentheses. That gets my event variable by reference. So I'm going to go with something like a ampersand. I'll go with my event variable. Guys, I can't see a thing because of all these pop-ups. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to go with a pair of curly braces. This actually changes my actual event stuff. Okay, let's go with something like an if statement now. So if a pair of parentheses, if my event variable dot the type function, if my event dot type equals to I don't think it's like a type function. Okay, it's is equal to SDL underscore event underscore quit. Okay, this is the same as Python. Then I'm gonna do something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces that sets my is running Boolean variable to be equal to false, ending with a semicolon. Okay, this is the only part that's like kind of easy because that is like related to Python. That said, that's honestly pretty much it for my event loop. Hold up guys, maybe I had a comment here that says event loop. Event loop. Okay, now outside of my while loop begins there, ends here. Outside of my while loop, I'm gonna go ahead and let's say do the cleanup. So this is gonna be called the cleanup part. maybe add a comment that says something like clean up after loop ends. Okay, so this is going to be my cleanup after my loop ends. Okay, bro, hi, I'm back. Howdy, Pixel. I appreciate you for rejoining the stream. That said, after my loop ends, I'm going to firstly destroy my window, so I'll go with something like SDL underscore destroy. Okay, so I'm going to go with something like an uppercase destroy window. Okay, with a pair of parentheses. And this is going to be my window variable ending with a semicolon. And then I'm going to do something like SDL underscore quit. This is going to be a lowercase, actually a capitalized quit ending with a semicolon as well. Lastly, let's go ahead and return 0. And I feel like I did okay, I think I did everything correct. Okay, next up, if audit control us to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. Okay, so we did get this pop-up here. Let's get that there. And we did get a window that says something like the universe. It is like a pretty big window as well. Okay, if audit X, it closes the window, everything runs successfully. Perfect. Okay, guys, I think I understand. Maybe I want to drink some water real quick. Okay, I'm learning C++. Actually sounds pretty cool. Good luck with learning C++, Pixel. Okay, let's see. Next up. Okay, now, honestly, before I do say sincere I did get this, let me try writing it one more time to see if I did actually understand this. Now, without looking at the code. So I'm gonna go ahead and include a pair of ankle braces. Let's say I want to include IO stream first. And then let's go ahead and add another pair of ankle braces. I want to include something like, let's say SDL3 because I am going to be using it, /SDL.h. I'm assuming that's SDL's header files. And then let's go ahead and do something. So I'm going to be creating a main function. So I'll go with something like integer main, add a pair of parentheses, and then a pair of curly braces. Now, inside of a main function, I will be requiring two parameters. The first parameter is going to be an integer of argc, and the second parameter is going to be a character of argv with a pair of square brackets. I'm assuming that that's an array. Okay, you do front end also. Honestly, I haven't I've heard of front end. I've never gone into it. That's it. I don't know what it actually consists of. That's it. I do know back end development is programming and everything. I feel like I enjoy back end a bit more. Okay, that said, inside of my main function, I'm going to be adding an if statement to check if my SDL was not initialized properly. So I'll go with something like if, I'll add a pair of parentheses, I'll add an exclamation, if my SDL underscore, guys, how do I get rid of this thing? It's so annoying. Okay, maybe it's something inside of my tools. So I might go inside my tools real quick, then options. Excuse me, guys, C/C++ scroll bars. There we go. Okay, show horizontal scroll bar. Okay, show vertical scroll bar. Those are the scroll bars. Show annotations. Did I pronounce it? Or vertical scroll bars. Show changes. Show marks. Show errors. Show a caret position. Use bar mode. Vertical scroll bar. Okay, tabs. Go with tab. Indenting. Non-block. That's tab size. Okay, maybe I go with something like advanced. Cleanup code. Enable hashtag include cleanup. I don't want to enable that. General. Auto list members. Parameter information statement completion. I think I wouldn't need that. Okay, enable side click URL. Navigating bar. Okay, guys, I think that was the stuff that I had to hide. Auto list members. Enable virtual space, live numbers, enable single click URL, show quick info, navigation bar automatic. Okay, guys, I think parameter info. I might remove that as well. Okay, now do I get anything? I don't think I get. Okay, howdy Pixel. I appreciate you joining the stream. Do you do next JavaScript on server actions? Honestly, yeah. When I do whatchamacallit, have a series where I actually create a website. I am actually going to be learning JavaScript. Kind of excited for that. That's it. I think now it shouldn't I shouldn't get that pop up. Let's say if my SDL underscore init. What up, guys? I actually don't get it. Did I actually do that without asking for help? Guys, that's actually pretty insane. That's it if my SDL underscore init and my something like SDL underscore init underscore video. Okay, if both of them are, if this is not set to true, I'm gonna add a pair of curly braces and do something. Let's see why is it not set to true. I'm gonna be adding a standard, let's say C error. okay, with an insertion operator that gets my, or actually that says a comment something like error. Okay, let's go with another insertion operator that points out exactly why I got that error. So I'm gonna go with something like SDL underscore get error. Okay, so this gets my error with a pair of parentheses, and then I'll go with another insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. Okay, then do JavaScript with uh, time leaf. Honestly, I haven't heard of that, but that does sound pretty cool. I might actually look into that. Okay, and then lastly, let's go ahead and return one ending with a semicolon. And now let's go ahead and create a window. Maybe I'll add a comment that says something like create window. Okay. Okay, next up, once I do start creating a window, firstly, I'm going to be doing something. Maybe I go with something like a SDL underscore window. Okay, SDL underscore. This is going to be capitalized window with an asterisk or a pointer for my window object that is going to be equal to SDL underscore create underscore create window with a pair of parentheses, and then I'm going to go in a new line. Now I'm going to be firstly adding a title for my window. Let's go with something like SDL3 window popped up successfully. I think I spelled it wrong. There we go. And then I'm going to add a comma here, go with my width, which is going to be 800 pixels. My height, that is going to be 600 pixels. And then my flag, that is going to be 0. Then let's go ahead and end that with a semicolon. Do you know Java? How do you use it? Honestly, I haven't started Java yet. That's why I'm really excited with starting Java real soon, guys. Okay, that's it. Let's see. Next up, after I create a window, let's check if my window did not execute properly. I'm going to be checking why it did not. I'll go with something like an if statement, if a pair of parentheses. Let's check something like if not window. Okay, if my window did not execute properly or some error happened, I'm going to be checking why. Firstly, I'm going to go with something like a standard C error with an insertion operator that says something like error. Okay, and then I want to know what error exactly occurred, so I'm going to use the SDL underscore get error. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna use the SDL underscore get error to exactly get the error that's exactly happening, and then I'll go with something like a standard end line ending. Excuse me, guys, ending with a semicolon. And if a window error does happen, I will have to quit my SDL's window as well. So I'll go with something like SDL underscore quit with a pair of parentheses ending with a semicolon, and then I'm gonna be returning one ending with a semicolon as well. Now, after my window, let's go ahead and add my game loop. So I'll go with something like game loop. Okay, and then for my game loop, firstly, I'm going to be creating a is running boolean variable, which is going to be set to which is honestly going to be set to true initially, ending with a semicolon, and this is going to be a boolean variable. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and create something like a SDL underscore event. Okay, should this be like all uppercase event? I forgot. Okay, it should be this way. Okay, honestly, just curious. What if I went with uppercase event? Okay, that would have it right underlined. So the capitalized event is all I need. Okay, that is going to be equal to, let's say, a event variable ending with a semicolon. Okay, honestly, I want to add an equal to. Okay, now let's go ahead and add a while loop. So I'll do something like while a pair of parentheses while is running is set to true, or while my program is running, I'm going to be adding a pair of curly braces that does something. This is C++. Honestly, yeah, this is C++. That's it. Inside of my while loop, I'm going to do something else. Let's go ahead and add an event loop. So I'll add a comment that says something like event loop. For my event loop, I'll add another while loop. So I'll go with something like while, a pair of parentheses. Also, what are you making? Honestly, I'm not making anything special. That's it. I am trying to pop a window up. This is the really basics of SDL3. That said, firstly, I'm going to go with something like while my SDL underscore poll event. What's this called? Poll event? I forgot. Hold up, guys. It's SDL underscore poll event. Okay, what's correct? Okay, so while SDL underscore poll event with a pair of parentheses, I'll go with something like my event. Okay, so basically what does this do? Wait, let me check. Polls for current pending events. If event is not null, the next event is removed from the QA. Is that pronounced and stored the SDL underscore event structure pointed to event one return refers to SDL structure. Alright, I didn't understand a thing, although I feel like poll event just gets my event variable by the reference. Okay, and then a lot of curly braces. Okay, he's learning, got it. Sir, yes, sir. Okay, next up, let's see. So, after I add a while loop, I'm going to be adding an if statement. So, I'll go with something like if a of parentheses. Let's say something like if my event variable dot type equals to pygame dot quit. Hold up, guys. My bad, guys. SDL underscore quit. Okay, then I'm going to do something. I'm going to be adding a of parentheses here. Was it SDL underscore quit? Okay, I think it's SDL underscore event underscore quit. Event underscore quit. Okay. Then I'm going to go with the of curly braces and do something. Firstly, I'm going to look exactly. Do I look with an error? Honestly, I'm not going to look for an error. I'm going to set my is running to be equal to false, ending with a semicolon. Okay. And then let's go ahead and return 0. Should I return 0? Okay, I shouldn't return anything. Let's do the cleanup now. So I'm gonna add a comment that says something like cleanup. Cleanup. Okay. Not Pygame, guys. I'm used to Pygame. Okay, Pygame XD happens. Okay, next up, let's see. So I'm gonna do something like SDL underscore quit with a parentheses ending with a semicolon. And then I'm going to do something like SDL underscore destroy window. Destroy window. Okay, with a parentheses. This is going to be my window parameter. Did I spell destroy correct? P-S-T-R-O-Y. This should be T-R-O-Y. Okay, I destroy my window. Lastly, let's go ahead and return 0, ending with a semicolon. Now, if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. C++ is better. Says Python is trash. Guys, I feel Python is fun, but it does get a bit boring because like it is kind of easy. Okay, good thing this isn't Python. Okay, that said, if I hit that, it exits properly. Okay, I think I understand how this works. Just for good measures, I might try it one more time. Okay, so let's go with the Control A, delete everything. Okay, let's try it one more time. Okay, so I'm gonna start off by including a pair of ankle braces. I wanna include IO stream. And now let's go ahead and include a pair of ankle braces again. Since I am going to be using SDL3, I'm going to be including SDL3 and then SDL.h. I'm assuming SDL.h is SDL headers. Okay, and then let's see. So now let's go ahead and create a main loop. So I'll go with something like integer main, add a pair of parentheses. My main function is going to be requiring two parameters. The first parameter is going to be an integer of argc. The second parameter is going to be a character an array of argv with a pair of square brackets. Okay, and then I go with a pair of curly braces. Okay, next up, inside of my main function, I'm going to be doing something. Firstly, let's check if my SDL was not initialized properly, and if it was not initialized properly, I'm going to be looking why it wasn't initialized. So I'll go with something like if a pair of parentheses. Let's go with something like not if my SDL underscore init, okay, with a pair of parentheses. My SDL underscore init underscore video. Okay, so this is basically a boolean that either returns 0 or not 0. If it did not return 0, because there's like a not here, I'm going to do something. I'll add a pair of curly braces and then add a standard C error. This is going to look for what error happens. I'll add an insertion operator. This is going to say something like error. Okay, and then I'll go in a new line, add another insertion operator, and do something like SDL underscore get error. This gets the exact error that I'm looking for. And then I'll add another insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. And lastly, let's return 1. We return 1 to say like something wrong happened here. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and add a comment that says something like create window. So he does not rely on AI to code. AI comes to him for help. Because actually it does make sense. Okay, I really need I really don't think nested loop are necessary, though I might be wrong. Okay, what is your source material? Honestly, I do source material. Do you mean like from where I learned? I actually learned from Sensei/ChatGPT. That said, I feel like I have like, guys, I have like a major feeling that I might have free documentations really soon, because like Sensei/ChatGPT can handle like it's going to eventually make a lot of mistakes. Because like yesterday there were a lot of mistakes actually. Okay, that said, let's go ahead and add a comment that says create window for creating windows. Firstly, I'm going to do something like SDL underscore window, okay, with a asterisk. I'm going to be creating a pointer for my window variable, which is going to be equal to SDL underscore create, okay, window. I think I spelled it wrong. Okay, with a pair of parentheses. And then inside of my window, I'm going to do something. Firstly, let's go ahead and add a title. My title is going to be something like SDL3 window created successfully. Okay, and then I'm going to add a comma, go with my width. I'm going to go with width of something like 800, height of something like 600. And then let's go with flag that is going to be set to 0, ending my window with a semicolon. Hiding lame, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and do something else. Now, I'm gonna check if my window did not, pop up properly. So I'll add an if statement for that. I'll go with something like if, add a pair of parentheses. I'm gonna add an exclamation for not, if not window. If my window did not pop properly, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna look what happened. So firstly, I might add a standard C error with an insertion operator that says something like error. Okay, and then I'm going to look for what error actually happened. So I'm going to do something like SDL underscore the get error function with a pair of parentheses, and then another insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. And then I return, honestly, before I return one, let me do something like SDL underscore quit to quit SDL if my window didn't pop up. And then I'm going to return one, that means something wrong happened. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and add my game loop. So first I'm going to add a comment that says something like game loop. Okay, now for my game loop, let's create two variables. The first variable is going to be something like a boolean for is running, okay, which is going to be initially set to true. This is going to be lowercase true, guys, ending with a semicolon. The second variable is going to be something like SDL underscore event. That is my event variable. It is going to be called event ending with a semicolon. Now let's add a while loop. So I'll do something like while a pair of parentheses. Let's say something like while is running, while my program is running, or while my is running is set to true. I'm going to do something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces, and then let's go ahead and check for my event loop. So I'll add a nested while loop with a pair of parentheses that does something like SDL underscore poll event. Okay, that takes my event variable by reference. There we go. Event. Okay. Automated scamming program, guys. This is actually just popping up in normal window. Okay, you once did a video game how to do a ninja star or something like this, and now you're doing that. Guys, honestly, I think like how to make a super ninja star was like a long time ago. I think I have like whatchamacallit. It's been like ages since I actually did that. I think that was like 4 years ago, my first ever YouTube video. Okay, that said, SDL underscore poll event. And this, okay, I think maybe I did something wrong in this part. Okay, so when I do poll event, okay, instead of just going with like the reference, I'll go with a pair of parentheses. And let's go ahead and delete this part and add it inside of my pair of parentheses. So I'll go with reference of event. Okay, perfect. So, okay, so this is my while loop. That is my poll event. It ends all the way there. Okay, now I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Was it something like this? I think like there's an extra pair of parentheses. Okay, perfect. Alright, so this is basically a function. My SDL poll event is like a function. Now, after that, I'm going to be adding, let's say, an if statement to check my event type. So I'm going to do something like if my SDL, or honestly, I'll go with something like event. If my event variable dot type equals to SDL underscore event underscore quit, I'm going to do something. I'm going to go with the row of curly braces and then set my is running boolean variable to be equal to false ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. Now, outside of my while loop, I'm going to add another comment that says something like clean up. Okay, now for my cleanup, let's go ahead and firstly destroy my window. So I'm going to do something like SDL underscore destroy window. Okay, SDL underscore destroy window. Excuse me, guys, with a pair of parentheses. This is going to be having a parameter of window ending with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and quit my SDL. So I'll do something like SDL underscore quit. That is going to be a lowercase quit with a pair of parentheses ending with a semicolon as well. Lastly, let's go ahead and return 0. Okay, now if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. What's your age, kid? Honestly, I am 17 years old. That's it. I am going to be turning 18 really soon, guys. My birthday is on January 5th. I honestly don't think that I have like any special plans for my birthday. That said, this is the window that has been created successfully. Okay, about it X to cancel. Okay, I honestly think I get how this works. So I'll go with the Control A, Control C, copy that. Let's get sensei/ChatGPT here. Let's go ahead and extend that out. Extend that from here as well. Okay, now let's go ahead and paste this. Go with Shift Enter and say something like Sensei, I feel like I understand how this code works now. ... I copied this code about 3 times and wrote and did it on my own about 2 times. Guys, did I like do this like 5 times in total? I feel like it is 5 times. Okay, that said, yes, that's exactly what I wanted to hear, people. You've done what 90% of beginners don't. You didn't just copy, you wrote it until your hands remember it. Okay, that's mastery farming right there. Each ride burns the logic deeper into your mind. What you've built here is the beating heart of SDL program, initialization, SDL underscore init, giving life to the system, creation, SDL underscore create window, forming the body that appears on screen, event loop, the brain that system of the brain that listens for your commands, clean up, the discipline to shut it down all properly. Most people stop when they see the window open. You went beyond ensuring it closes only when you decide. Now that you've built a living, breathing window, the next natural step is to give it side and motion by creating a renderer and drawing shapes on color inside it. Do you want to continue? Okay, to that next stage, okay, where we make window actually display colors on and reacting to logic each frame? Honestly. Guys, I feel like I say way too many honestlys. That said, I was working on text editor at SDL3. I had algo problems with TDF rendering text on 4K monitor. Text was so blurry. Oh, I see. That actually sounds pretty cool. I might actually try that as well. Okay, that's that. What is this next step, honestly? Let me say something like, Sensei, is that the next step once we learn this part, question mark? Okay, if it is, then I actually might go with it. Okay, yes, people, that's the next step. Right now your window is alive but is blind. Okay, it exists but cannot see or draw. That's where the renderer comes in. Explain dynamic dispatch. Honestly, I haven't like heard of dynamic dispatch yet, but I might actually learn into that or like look into that. Where the renderer comes in. Okay, so we're going to be using the renderer. It's like giving your program eyes on a paintbrush. Here's how the path goes from you mastered the window, the foundation next to the renderer. After that, we handle input, detecting keyboard. Then you'll move to animation and loop, guys. Isn't this going too fast? Okay, do you want to start learning about renderer next? Let me something like, yes, Sensei. Although I've never heard of it, so can you teach it to me? Question mark. Okay, let's see. Listen close, people. This is where SDL starts to feel like magic. A renderer is like the program's brush and canvas. The window is the frame, but the renderer is what actually prints it. Without a renderer, your window is just an empty box. Here's the simplest way to start. Create a renderer tied to your window, SDL underscore renderer. Okay, so this is like our window, tied to your window. Okay, I go with a asterisk. I'm assuming that's like for a pointer. Explain substitution failure. Is not an error. Honestly, I haven't even learned of substitution. I did like start SDL yesterday. That said, let's see. SDL underscore create window null PDR 0. The first argument is the window you want to draw. Okay, so I want to draw a window. I'm assuming that's like my window variable. Okay, the second argument is for choosing specific graphics drivers. Null PDR usually means let SDL decide. Okay. The third argument is flag. 0 is fine for now. Okay, pick a color. SDL underscore set render draw color render 250000. Actually, 255.0.0.255. Isn't this RGB? Okay, red, green, blue, alpha. So that is RGB alpha opacity. Oh, or opacity, my bad, guys. Okay, I see. So 255, I'm assuming it's full opacity. Clear the screen with that color. So SDL underscore render underscore clear. My renderer variable, think of it as painting the entire window red. Show the changes on the window. SDL underscore render present, that is renderer, okay. Until you call this, the changes are just off screen. This puts your drawing into the actual window. Finally, clean up when done. SDL underscore destroyed renderer. I'm assuming this gets destroyed with my window. If you want, we can write the full code together that opens the window and fills it with a color. Using your existing loop, okay, to close it when press X. Do you want me to do that? Let's say something like you should say. Honestly, guys, I do want to see it. Okay. Because usually before I do actually like learn the code, I do like to see if it actually works, so it's not like a waste of time. That said, let's go ahead and copy that. Now let's go with Control A, Control V. Let's paste it here. There aren't any errors. Looks kind of good, guys. That said, if I wanted controllers to save the code and run the command, there were build errors, guys. This is the reason I don't prefer doing that. Okay, I did like get this. Oh, this is like my previous code. Hold up, guys. Okay, let's say slash chat GPT that I got a build error. Okay, can I like debug? Is there like a debugger? Start debugging. There were build errors. Would you like to? Okay, hold up, guys. There was like a build error. Okay, let's say something like, let's say there was a build error in that code. ... Guys, I wish there were like better documentation. Okay, what people, no excuses. Let's crush this. SDL3 is still new and picky. Most likely your build error is because SDL underscore create render and SDL3 doesn't take the same arguments as SDL2. Look closely. In SDL3, the function signature is okay, but if you pass null PDR, I see. If you want, I can give you. I want you to fix your code. Okay, honestly, let me say something like, say, can you give me a fixed working one so I can see if it works, question mark. Okay, I want to see if the code actually works first. Okay, so we included IO stream. Let's see if we did something different. So we did do something different in our create render. Okay, now if I did control, if I were to copy that whole thing, go with Control A, Control V. I see an error here now. Okay, let's see, show potential fixes. Okay, doesn't show potential fixes. What if I hit the bulb? Okay, let's get Sensei/ChatGPT back here. Guys, this was going so good. That's it. Let's say something like Sensei, I get a error now on line. Okay, guys, what line was it? On line 24. Let's copy that part. Okay, get Sensei/ChatGPT back here. Okay, on line 24. On line 24. Okay, and then I'll go with Shift Enter, paste this here. Okay, maybe let me hydrate my lips real quick. Feel it's kind of dehydrated. Okay, let's see. Okay, next up, people, I see exactly what's happening. SDL3 changed things. SDL underscore create render does not exist anymore in SDL3. That's a leftover from SDL2. SDL3 uses instead. You cannot call it. Okay, let me say that. Do you want me to do that? Let's say something like, yes, Sensei. Guys, I just want to see if the code works first. Okay, so we include IO stream. This is the third part of the code. Okay, set clear RGB plus alpha. Now if I were to copy that, go with Control A, Control V. Guys, I see so many errors now. Okay, maybe I asked Sensei for like the documentation where I can actually read that. Okay, let's copy that. Let's get Sensei/ChatGPT back here. Let's say something like, I got a error in this line, Sensei. Okay, let's go with Shift Enter, paste that. Okay, let me say something like, Hiding of Fear, or is that how I pronounce your name? I think it's pronounced as Fenor. Hiding Fenor, appreciate you joining the stream. That said, let's say something like Sensei. I think that I might have to read the, let's say, documentation, okay, for the SDL3. So maybe can you give me the link for this part, question mark? Okay guys, I think this might be the way. Searching the web, okay. Well, since I'm searching, let me try and drink some water. What is he trying to program? Honestly, I am like learning the basics of SDL3. I didn't learn how to create an actual window. That's why I'm learning the rest stuff as well. So let me drink some water, kind of thirsty. Okay, so it says, great people, here's the official documentation. It says, it shows the correct syntax. Okay, that's it? You'll know that from the doc. Okay, let me actually say something like Sensei. Since that's the correct syntax, can I get the corrected code, question mark? Hello, C++, go with Golang. Honestly, I did actually think of going with Golang eventually. I might actually learn that. That said, let's go ahead and copy that. Okay, now let's go with the control V. Okay, now it doesn't look like there's an error. If audit control has to save the code and run the command. Okay, I get a window pop up. Oh, it says SDL init error. So I get an init error. Okay, did I like select exactly what error? I didn't. Okay, I did get my exact error. Okay, I got an init error because my SDL did not initialize. Let me remove that 0 and add like an exclamation here. There we go. Okay, now for it controllers to save the code and run the command. That should fix it, honestly. Hold up guys, something did pop up. I got a window here, although nothing is inside the window. Okay, maybe when I go with something like SDL underscore create window, let me go maybe in a new line here real quick so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Let's do that there. Go in a new line, and a new line. There we go. Maybe I'll add a new line here as well. Okay, now when I go with standard SDL create window renderer. Okay, I don't see a color honestly though. Excuse me guys, I think because it's 000, what if I go with 255? Okay, that's RGB, so this is going to be like a red color. Now if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, I should get like a red. There we go. There we go, guys. Okay, I think I see. Okay, let's go ahead and change that. So let's see what all were different here. The only thing that was different is that I need to go with exclamation SDL. Okay, that part makes sense. And then I go with SDL window equals to null PDR. Why did I go with null PDR? SDL, if not SDL underscore create window and renderer. Hold up guys, this part might be a little confusing to think. Okay, optional clear renderer. What library is this? Honestly, I am like using SDL3. That said, maybe I do go to Sensei's link as well. Let me go ahead and copy this part real quick. Okay, hold up. Let me go with the Control C first, copy the whole code. And then let's come here, let's paste it, go with Shift Enter and see something like Sensei. I did a few tweaks. Okay, and changed the code up a bit. So now the window is red. That said, okay, what does this part do? This part do question mark. Okay, now for the what does this part do question, let's go ahead and copy all of that because I don't know what this does. Okay, and then optional clear the screen renderer. Okay, why not Raylib? It's more beginner friendly. Honestly, I did like think of going with Raylib, but I thought that if we learned whatchamacallit SDL3, it is like the pie games of like C++. It might be actually pretty fun to learn it. That's it. Let's get Sensei here. What does this part do? And I feel it's not honestly hard to learn like SDL3. I feel like I just don't know the syntax or like a perfect resource to learn it from. That said, let's hit enter. Okay, good people, you're starting to think like an SDL master. Let's break this part down slowly. SDL window, when I create a window object, I set that equal to null PDR. Here you're declaring two pointers, one to the SDL window and one to the renderer. Null pointer means that they don't point to anything yet, it's just an empty placeholder. I see. And if not, okay, so if SDL underscore create window and renderer is not true, I add my my Windows title, my width, height. I'm assuming this is my flag, SDL window resizable. Okay, I'm assuming that's my flag, and then I get window by its reference and I get renderer by its reference as well. Okay, so I'm not manipulating a copy. Okay, and this is not. So I gotta figure out what error is happening. So I'll go with a standard C error that gets my exact error, and then I get my error, and then I quit, return 1. SDL underscore create window and renderer creates the window and the renderer at the same time parameters. I need a title of the window. I need a width and height of the window. SDL underscore window underscore resizable make the window resizable. Is it resizable? Window renderer, you pass the address of your pointers so SDL can fill them with created objects. That's why you need an ampersand. The if not checks if the creation is failed. Okay, I think I see. So this block prepares the pointer to hold window renderer, tries to be creating them, stops everything, and prints the error if it fails. This is the heart of getting SDL window on screen. What up, guys? Let's run the code real quick. Again real quick. Okay, let's get it here. Is it resized? It is resizable. Alright, guys, that's officially insane. I can actually resize it. Okay, that actually wasn't expected, guys. Okay, I might actually learn this. Part. That said, let's see. Okay, honestly, firstly I go with SDL underscore window underscore null PDR. Firstly, I might actually copy this while doing it, because I feel like it's almost impossible to write this on my own because I don't know how this works. So I'll give Simte/ChatGPT here. Okay, the first time I will be copying the code's reference, and the second time I'm going to write it on my own. Actually, I feel I already know how to do this on my own. SDL underscore window, instead of creating a window separately and a renderer separately, I do that at the same time. What else parameters does my renderer require? So it requires a title, integer of width, integer of height, SDL window flag. Okay, my flag, what if I change to 0? Just curious, guys. Let's change that to 0 real quick. Now if I hit Ctrl S and run the command, will my window not be resizable? I do get a window. My window is not resizable. I see. Okay, so that's basically what it does. In that case, I want to always go with resizable. How do you spell it? Hold up, guys. I might have to learn how to spell this first. How do you spell resizable? Okay, I mean, is it capital or lowercase? Okay. Where's resizable at? Okay, that's window renderer. Isn't there resizable anywhere? Let me go with a bunch of control C's. Okay, so it is SDL underscore window underscore resizable, all uppercase, I see. Okay, in that case, I'll go with a control A. Let's delete everything. Now, let me go ahead and start off by including all lowercase. Let's include a pair of ankle braces. I want to include IO stream. And then let's go ahead and include another pair of ankle braces, SDL3 /SDL.h. I'm assuming that's SDL's header files too. Although I don't know what header files honestly means. Next up, let's go ahead and create a main function. So I'll go with something like integer main, add a pair of parentheses. My main function does require two parameters. First parameter is going to be an integer of, let's say, argc. Let's go with something like argc. The second is going to be something like a characters pointer or an array characters pointer of argv with a pair of parentheses. Actually, with a pair of square brackets. And then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Now, inside of my main function, I'm going to be checking if my SDL was not initialized properly. So I'll go with an if statement. So if a pair of parentheses, let's check something like not. Okay, I'll go with something like not SDL underscore init if my SDL did not initialize properly. this is going to be having a parameter of my SDL's video. So if my SDL underscore init underscore video did not initialize properly, then I'm going to do something. I'm going to go with a pair of curly braces. Firstly, I'm going to be adding a standard C error, okay, with an insertion operator. That is going to be saying something like, let's say SDL init error. Init error, okay, now let's look for exactly what error we're getting. So I'm going to do something like, let's say SDL underscore get error function. This gets exactly the error that's currently occurring. Then I'll go with another insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. Okay, and then let's see. Let me go ahead and return 1 lastly. So I'm going to go ahead and return 1 ending with a semicolon. Okay, that's, I forgot what it was. That is for checking if my SDL did not initialize properly. Now let's go ahead and create a window and a renderer at the same time. So I'll go with something like create window and renderer. Okay, at the same time. There we go. Maybe I actually title case my renderer as well, or like uppercase it. Actually capitalize it. Next up, inside my create window and renderer, first I forgot what I had to do. Let's go ahead and create something like 2 variables. The first variable is gonna be a standard underscore window with a with a pointer for my window variable, which is going to be equal to null PDR. That's basically a placeholder. I think it's going to be something like null. There we go, null pointer. And my Windows variable is a pointer. And then I'll go with something like SDL underscore renderer. Okay, with a pointer as well, or a asterisk for my renderer. There we go. Okay, which is going to be equal to null PDR as well, because that is like a placeholder too. I don't know why is there a placeholder just yet. That said, okay, after that I gotta add an if statement to check if my window did not create properly. So I'll go with something like if a prof parentheses. I'll add an exclamation for not. So let's check something like if my SDL underscore create window and renderer. So firstly, let's go with something like SDL underscore create window. Okay, this does create a window. Let's go with something like and renderer. Damn, that's a big function name, honestly. I'm gonna go with a pair of curly braces. Now I'll go in a new line. Inside, I'm gonna do something. Let's see, I'll add a few parameters. The first parameter is gonna be a title. The title is gonna be something like SDL3 window created successfully. Okay, and then I'm gonna add a comma, go with my width and height. My window's width is gonna be 800, height is gonna be 600. And then now for my flag, instead of going with 0, I'm gonna be going with something like, let's say, I think it's SDL underscore window. Okay, this should be all capital. Window underscore resizable. Okay, I don't think resizable is correct. Okay, I gotta go with something like, let me actually check this part. Okay, SDL underscore, let's get error. Okay, it's window underscore resizable. I think it's correct. Did I have a typo? Hold up, guys. I think my logic was correct. I had a typo. Resizable, so SIZABLE. There we go. Okay, SDL underscore window underscore resizable, ending with a semicolon. Actually, ending with a comma. And next up, what else do I need? Let's think. If I were to go all the way up here, I need something like SDL window and renderer's pointer. Okay, let me get their memory addresses. So I'll go with something like an ampersand of my window variable. Okay, and then I'm gonna go with something like an ampersand or a address of operator to get the reference or the memory address of my renderer. And then I'm gonna go ahead and end that with a semicolon. Honestly, should I end that with a semicolon? Did I need anything else? Pretty sure not. So I might actually end that with a semicolon. Okay, wait, should I add this part with a semicolon? I'm pretty sure I should. Okay, now I'll go with the pair of curly braces because it starts there. The parameters end here. I'm gonna end that with a semicolon. Okay, hold up. Maybe I need a pair of curly braces. Hold up, guys. There we go. Okay, now I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Inside of my pair of curly braces, I'm going to be looking for an error that occurs if this does not happen. I have that exclamation for not. So I might go with something like a standard C error. So I'll go with something like C error with an insertion operator that is going to say something like SDL underscore create window and renderer. Okay, so I'll go with something like SDL underscore create window underscore renderer error. Okay, so this is going to give me what error I need. Actually, that won't give me. That's just like a console output on the screen. Now, to get the actual error, I'm going to go with something like SDL underscore get error. Okay, that gets me the exact error that I'm looking for. And then I'll add an insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. I'm pretty sure that's pretty much it. I feel like I might have to like go with something like SDL underscore quit. Okay, with a pair of parentheses ending with a semicolon, and lastly return 1. Okay, and if no problems happen, it's gonna run regularly. Okay, I was correct about these two. Next up, let's go ahead and add my game loop. For my game loop, I'll go with a comment that says something like game loop. Okay, now I'm going to be creating, let's say, 2 variables. The first variable is going to be a Boolean variable of is running, which is going to be set to true initially, ending with a semicolon. The second variable is going to be an event variable. It's going to be called something like SDL underscore event. Okay, which is going to be called event, ending with a semicolon. Now let's add a while loop. So while a pair of parentheses, let's say while is running, while my program is running or while my is running is set to true, I'm going to do something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then add a nested while loop. So I'll go with something like while a pair of parentheses. Let's do something like, I don't know, maybe, okay. Let's see, the second one should have been something like poll event. So I'll go with something like SDL underscore poll event. Okay, and then I'll go with something like a pair of parentheses. It is going to be taking a parameter of the memory address of my event variable, which is my SDL's event, if that made any sense, guys. Okay, and then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Now I'm going to look for a specific type of event. So I'll go with something like if a pair of parentheses, if my event dot type equals to, let's go with something like SDL underscore event underscore quit. I'm going to do something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Okay, and then set my, let's say, is running Boolean variable to be equal to false, ending with a semicolon. Then outside of my while loop, I'm going to do something. Let's go ahead and add a comment that says something like cleanup. Hold up, before cleanup, I feel I'm missing something. Okay, there's an optional stuff. Clear the screen frame with black. Okay, so wait, firstly, before this, I might add color. Hold up, guys, let me change this comment to something else. I'll go with something like clear the screen frame with black, actually with color. Okay, now for doing that, I'm going to do something like SDL underscore set renderer, okay, draw color. Okay, guys, these function names are getting massive. I'll add a pair of parentheses. This is going to be requiring a parameter. Let's see. So I need a SDL renderer. So that is going to be my renderer object. Unit H, unit A, that is RGB, and that's A for alpha. Okay, so let's go ahead and add my renderer object. Actually, my renderer variable, let's copy the spelling. Let's go ahead and copy that, paste it here. Okay, gotta put that in your running loop. Wait, honestly, it should go inside of my while loop? Oh, it should. Hold up, guys. Let's go ahead and copy that part, delete it from here. Okay, that goes after my, outside of my if state, outside of my nested while loop. Okay, so now I need RGMB. So the R could be something like, okay, I want to go with a good blue color. So I'll go with something like 0248 255. And then let's go with alpha. The alpha is going to be 255. That's basically like, that's like full opacity, if that's how I pronounce it. SDL set render draw color is the first function to set my colors. Next up, I need SDL, so I'll go with another function called SDL underscore render clear. So I'll go with the render clear, okay, with a pair of parentheses. That needs my render variable. What up, guys? Okay, my render variable ending with a semicolon, and then SDL underscore render present. So I'll go with SDL underscore render present. Okay, and then I'll add a pair of parentheses that has my render variable. Okay, perfect. And then let's go ahead and end that with a semicolon as well. And now let's do the cleanup outside of my while loop. So I'll add a comment that says something like cleanup. For my cleanup, firstly, let's go ahead and destroy my window. So I'll do something like SDL underscore destroy window. Okay. With a pair of parentheses. This is going to be my window variable ending with a semicolon, and then something like SDL underscore quit with a pair of parentheses ending with a semicolon as well. Lastly, let's go ahead and return 0. Alright, perfect. Now, if I hit control as to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. So we got this pop up. Guys, there's no way I remember the RGB color for light blue. I used it for my Python for 100 days game, but I didn't know that I actually remembered it. What the hell, guys? That said, if I were to cancel it, cancels perfectly. 0, 2, 48, 2. Guys, I feel like my pride is like at the third roof because I remember the RGB. That said, hold up, guys. Let me check if the stream's going good. Okay, I forgot to check my kick stream today. Okay, perfect. That's it. I'll go with the control A, control C, copy that. Maybe I won't like say sensei slash GPT that I understood this. Okay, because I do need more practice, and that's it. I do gotta go for today as well because like I do have an exam next Monday or like this Monday because like it is currently like today it is Monday. I have exam like next Monday that's coming up like in exactly 7 days. So I gotta study for that. Okay, and I do have assignments as well. So let me say something like sensei, I see ... That said, I am planning to end the stream right now because I do have an exam in 7 days. In 7 days and a lot. Okay, and a lot of assignments. So I am planning to end the stream. Although, is there anything that you want to say to the viewers before I end the stream? Question mark. And we will also be going through the same thing next stream. ... Guys, there are so many typos. Okay, let's see. Okay, people, tell this to your viewers. We just dove into SDL3 today. We learned how to create a window, handle errors, and set up renderers. If you think coding is hard, remember every master started where we're right now, making mistakes, fixing them, and keep going. Next stream, we're going deeper, game loops, events, and actual rendering. Stay curious, keep practicing, and don't let anyone tell you it's too hard. See you next time, and remember, people's exams and assignments come first. Kick their butts, then come back to SDL madness, hugs, and a big high five before you go. Okay, you're doing amazing. Okay, that same thing goes for you guys as well if you guys do program with me too. That said, let's go to my main camera. Alright guys, so basically that was pretty much it for the stream. That's it. I did want to stream for longer. Maybe once my college ends, I will stream for longer. And yes, I haven't like uploaded my building the PC video till now because like I have a lot of work off stream. That's it. As soon as I have time, I will be uploading that video. And since I did build a PC and I have a new PC and my stream lag is fixed, I did start multi-streaming on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, and I will start multi-streaming on Instagram and TikTok as well if I did meet these followers requirements. So if you guys haven't followed me there and you guys do enjoy my content, make sure to follow me there. You guys can get access to my socials through the description because I did like link them in the descriptions, and also through exclamation and my socials name on chat. That's it. For some reason Nightbot isn't working right now, so that part isn't actually working. That said, also join the Discord. The link is in the description, and eventually once Nightbot is kind of fixed, you guys will be able to get access to my Discord server through through the chat as well. That said, I'll catch you guys in the next live stream or video. Peace.